Welcome to Linux for the Rest of Us, episode number 69. The show about Linux. I say it every week. It's about Linux. It's all about Linux. Linux news, Linux distributions, Linux apps, Linux toys, Linux gadgets, Linux for the holiday season. Maybe we have some of that tonight. I don't even know. But this is the show where if you're a noob, intermediate, expert, whatever you are involving Linux, I think you'll get something out of the show, and I hope you enjoy it. Now let me introduce the man who brings the goods week after week, and he brings them well, and he brings them in abundance, actually, too. It's the Door-to-Door Geek, Steve McLaughlin. What's up, Door?
How's everything going, Steve?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Good week. You know, haven't been in jail. No one I care about's been in jail or the hospital. It's just getting really like jacked because it's getting close to the holiday, and my 7-year-old has figured out how to say every like 8 seconds, "Oh, I want that. Oh, I want that."
Really?
Oh, yeah.
At the store or like just online or in TV? Anywhere?
He could be in a closet with the lights off and I think still say it.
Really? Well,
It doesn't matter where we're
What's he going to get? What's his big gift this year?
Well, I would say we first made a mistake. We committed to taking what he wanted into serious consideration before I asked the question why. But it is a 3DS, Nintendo 3DS handheld 3D gaming system.
Yeah.
After like 2 weeks or 3 weeks after that, I stopped and I said, wait. Why do you want a 3DS? And if he would have said, well, because Tracy has it in school or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, wrong answer. You know what I mean? No, I don't want to give you something just because somebody else has it.
Right.
So I literally sat him there with my hands on his shoulders. And I said, I need you to tell me why you want this. Santa told me to ask. He's like, well, because I like playing video games. Well, yeah, but you have all these other video games here. Why do you need this 3DS? Why do you want it so bad? Well, it's 3DS. Okay. Well, but why do you want it? Well, it has good video games on it. Good answer.
Good.
I was like, yeah.
So he passed, but he passed the test. Like
yes.
Good.
Flying colors. And I said to him, well, what if in 2 weeks, you know, Teddy in school gets a 4DS? Of course, he doesn't know what it means. And he said, well, I got a 3DS.
Nice.
And I said, yeah, and I would play my 3DS. Oh, good.
You
Thank you.
You got a good kid, Door.
Dude, I'm lucky.
Yes.
And then today he got a yellow day for saying something that's not really Podnutz friendly.
Really?
And I'm thinking to myself, that merits a yellow day. What was he doing getting a red day? Stabbing people? But I digress.
Touche. All right, Door. What do you got for us this week?
Okay, well, the first is just like everything since time began, okay, people, nothing is completely black and white. Nothing. Nothing. And the example I'm going to use might not be a politically correct one, but it is an accurate one.
Uh-oh.
Murder.
Okay.
Killing someone.
Right.
There is instances where it's legal. I'm walking home from the store. Somebody jumps out, stabs me, trying to rob me, and I get them down and choke them out and kill them. Under law, I'm innocent. I was defending myself.
I mean, let's to make it clear, that's not murder, though.
Well, right. Okay, death, killing someone.
Killing someone. Okay, gotcha.
There's always a circumstance that can happen that can make something a shade of gray.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Granted, there's plenty of occasions where I kill someone, I should go to jail or worse because it's wrong. Total flip side of that coin. That was the yin, this is the yang. Open source. Open source is the common word to the common folk. What a lot of other people prefer is free software. Okay. Just because something is classified with the license of open source does not make it completely open.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is all from viewpoints too. This is all from perspectives, let's say. You know what I mean? Because if I strangle the guy out, his mom is going to say I should go to jail.
Right.
That's her perspective.
Right.
If I am a company and I take a piece of software that's under the BSD open source license, that means I can take the whole thing, the whole shebang of that whole application, program, whatever. I can take it, I can tweak it, I can change it, I can modify it. I can keep all those changes to myself and then sell said product. To me, that's free because I am free to do this with it.
Mm-hmm.
To someone on the outside, that at least gives the impression it's not free because you own it. You're doing with it what you want. That's not free. There is no right or wrong in this.
Wait a minute, I lost you there. Why would someone on the outside think that that's not free?
Well, because I cannot now use it. I cannot now see what you did. I cannot now change what you did.
I got you.
And there is no right or wrong. There really isn't. Because, you know, if I'm going to use this same kind of analogy. If I go out on the street and someone will freely come with me, then I don't let them leave my house. They're free to do everything they want in my house, but they can't leave my house kind of thing because I said they can't. You know, that's in some ways the person might feel more free because they're safe inside here, food, water, shelter. But people on the outside might look at it as imprisonment.
So do you really have people live in your house? You won't let them go away? You won't let them leave?
But once they stop cleaning, I get rid of them. But yeah, okay. And that's all about perspective. Now, there are other open source licenses like the GPL 2 and 3 that basically say everything I change, I must then give back. And the real gist of the license is I get this code, it adheres to that license. Anything I do now will also adhere to that license. So it always must carry forward. Okay.
Yes.
Now with that, we had some, in far as I am concerned, some frigging standing news in the last week. Then, after calming down, letting the caffeine wear off a little bit, I'm still a little bit apprehensive, but I still feel really good about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Meg Whitman, the CEO, Meg Whitman, formerly with eBay, formerly ran for office in California, been a bunch of places.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought when she went into HP, they knew what she was going to do kind of thing. I'll say, from my perspective, she's thrown a curveball or two. For one, they said they're going to get rid of all consumer-grade hardware and just worry about servers. And they're going to basically sell off the other stuff to somebody else to make it. Well, that apparently is no more. They are going to keep making consumer-grade hardware. That threw me a curveball. And WebOS, originally designed, built, implemented, coded with Palm, the company Palm. It is a Linux stack underneath with, I believe, HTML, JavaScript, and CSS as the building blocks to the applications, which means raw code, human readable in the background, which is a huge plus. And supposedly, as soon as you got a WebOS device, whether it's the Palm Pre, the Pre Plus, or anything, it was all you had to do was go to a command line and type SU, and you had root. No hacks, no tricks, no cracks, no codes, no batch files, nothing like that.
Yeah, but did that happen with your touchpad when you had it?
I don't know, because it was too obnoxiously painful to find a terminal application.
Okay.
And that's because it wasn't popular, and I was a little impatient, and they ripped me off on it. They said they were going to give me the coupon code that I presented to them. They didn't. They actually charged me full price, and I only had 14 days, I think, to use it.
Okay.
So I returned it.
Okay.
HP bought it about a year ago, and immediately took plans of this Windows 8 Slate tablet computer and said, nope, we're now running WebOS.
Right.
And blew the doors off people. Couldn't believe what was going on. Okay. 3 months later. 3 months later. Nothing. And then they come out with the HP touchpad. They made near zero changes to WebOS. So when they came out, it was kind of behind, didn't have a lot of apps, didn't have a lot of functionality in comparison, in direct comparison to iPads or Android tablets.
Mm-hmm.
So they immediately went on fire sale. They just put a whole bunch on eBay last weekend. Genius. Okay. Well, I think it was Friday, Meg Whitman announced in a press release they are going to release WebOS as an open source product.
Yes, I heard this.
With caveats. Okay, the caveats is they're going to release it to someone they want to release it to. They might actually create a new organization. They might take money out of their own pocket and say, here, you are going to be the controllers of this. This is the free, this is the open source product WebOS.
Like this is the WebOS Foundation or something like that.
Yes. Which every hugely, quickly successful open source product needs a company backing them up.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. If they don't need a company backing them up, they are filling a huge niche where people are like throwing money at them. Okay. We already have Android. We already have Apple. For this to be successful, it's going to need, in my mind, corporate backing. So that can work out. But they also aren't clear what license they're going to release it under. If they do release it under BSD license, that means in 3 months from now, Samsung could release a WebOS tablet that is really hard to hack and commonly hard to root, running things that you can't run on any other WebOS tablet. It could mean more splintering than we're seeing right now on Android.
Okay.
It all depends on how the organization that they set up handles this. But I can honestly say, out of all the possibilities of this potential future of WebOS, if we're sitting back looking in the fourth dimension at all the different possibilities, over half of them to me result in WebOS being much more powerful, much more popular, and much more successful than it's been, which of course isn't hard.
Okay.
You know, because it really wasn't successful in the last year and a half.
Yeah, what a waste.
It is. The huge plus to it, though, is from a developer standpoint, if you can do a web page, you can do WebOS. You don't need to know Objective-C. You don't need to know Java, any of these extra things. Web. If you know web, you can produce on it. So that could be a really low barrier to entry to get people to start doing stuff for it. I'm going to keep a close eye on this because I am interested with it. To be honest, if I could flash WebOS on a device of mine, I would do it just to see it.
Me too. I actually was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, it could be cool.
What license do you want them to release it under?
Oh, I would love it to be under a GPL3. Because that means anyone who takes it, hypothetically, Samsung takes it and makes all kinds of changes. You know, Sony hypothetically could say, I really like those changes. Take their changes, add more changes, and make that even better. And then Philips could say, I don't like either of your guys' changes. I'm going to do this. And Linus Torvalds in an interview a couple weeks ago said, the best thing about GPL is the more popular, the more polished, the better one typically always wins. So if Philips does something that's actually better, then other people are going to pick up on what Philips did, and they're going to take what they did. I believe it has a better chance of being more polished, more accepted, easier to manage and switch from device to device to device
than Android.
if it is GPL'd.